I just got a download and I had to immediately come and record for you all so I can share this because it's so important. In life, we cycle through life. Life is cyclical, the circle of life. We go through cycles and we revisit information on deeper levels every time we, advance, because it's literally just folding in on itself. Things get clearer and clearer, more clarity, right? But the more you pass through the cycles, like I said, you get into deeper knowing and you get more understanding, So something that I was always interested in, which I literally just got more understanding of a few minutes ago, and I had to share it with you all. It's like the idea of unconditional love and just love in general. So the way the word love is presented in our world, it's like I never resonated with it and it never made sense. It just was never coherent to me because the love that people preach, oh, I love them. They don't. And it's not even in a bad way, no judging, right? But the word love as it's used in this world right now is very distorted. It's more of, I am comforted by you filling spaces that aren't filled for me. Love and unconditional love, it's something that is not understood. And I think when we understand it more, like more people will actually not even be in relationships because it's just going to be different. The collective conscious definition of love is just distorted right now, and it's okay. Distortion can be removed, right? But honestly, people don't love each other and they don't know how to accept that because they don't know what love is. But to know what love is and know what unconditional love is, you have to, experience it within yourself. And like I said, unconditional love is what we need. I don't think people understand what unconditional love is. And literally, it's the best thing. Once you have unconditional love, you can literally move through this life like fluid. Like you're fluid because unconditional love is the answer. We're here to learn unconditional love for ourselves. You'll feel whole, right? You wouldn't be looking for anything outside of you. It takes a lot to have unconditional love. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with relationships of that sort. Sometimes that temporary structure helps you learn to love yourself. You just have to understand that those outside relationships are temporary. And you can either let it make you or break you, right? Most of the time when people leave in relationships and they're grieving, it's because that part of them that was externalized, it was removed and it actually destabilizes you. So I believe I didn't experience love correctly as a child. And I kind of already can see through like distortion. So I already knew the word didn't make sense, right? So I was always looking for the real definition of what love was. Like, what is love? Because what y'all saying love is, it just don't work. Like, I've seen relationships. I've seen people say they love each other. No, this can't be love. Right? It can't be. So let's break down unconditional love. Condition. What's a condition? A condition is something that has to be met. Like if you're a coder, you know what conditions are, but basically it's like A only happens if B is true. Say it with me. A only happens if B is true. Again, we're saying what is a condition? We're breaking down the word unconditional. You have and then you have conditional. So a condition. A condition is something that has to be met. Basically, A only happens if B is true. That's conditional. So it's basically like, I'm going to give you an example. I'm successful if I make $1 million. So if you make $1 million, you're successful. Like I said, A only happens if B is true. So if B which is make $1 million, is true, that means you're successful. That's conditional. Because if B isn't true, which is you make $1 million, then you're saying you're not successful. So you're only successful if you make $1 million? So what happens if you don't? You're giving yourself like an ultimatum, right? And that's judging. It's very hard on ourselves. The world does that now. Like we base our love for ourselves and our outlook on ourselves on external things. And what I'm hitting at is that conditions have to be met. And the word unconditional means not conditional, removing conditions. So that means that it's no longer I'm successful if I make $1 million. It's I'm successful. It's not if. Unconditional means that no outside circumstance, no circumstance at all is going to tell you anything about love. Love is there regardless. Keep that word in mind, right? It's there regardless. It's there regardless. And that's not what was taught. We were taught to judge ourselves by external output, results, and what we can produce. And if you don't produce it, you're bad, right? So most people have had that mindset, that structure, and it's been passed throughout the world because unconditional love is not really explained, when unconditional love is just acceptance under all conditions, under no constraint, under no condition. That means you love people regardless. You don't judge people. But what we have in this world, we have races against each other. We have religion against each other. We have politics, one of the stupidest fucking things to ever exist on this earth. And yeah, I don't really care what people think about what I think, but I know that the way that I think allows me to live a peaceful life. Politics are dumb. Religion's getting there, but it kind of helps people outsource certain things, right? But it's basically like most people in these groups are like, if you're not me, if you don't follow what I follow, I don't like you. I don't love you. But what you're saying is, little do you know, you're saying you're allowing these external things to hold a piece of you, right? So what you're basically telling yourself is, if you don't agree with this piece of me that I don't agree with, like, I don't like you. You don't agree. You don't like yourself. That's what it is, right? That's just what it is. And I think it's going to take a mass deconstruction from all of the programs that were initially ran in our life to let people think, oh, you have to do this to be this. Like, you have to meet this condition. You have to meet this condition. You have to meet this condition, this condition, this condition to be normal, be a good person. There are people here who are meant to see through structures and help be a disruption, help remove code and reinstall new programs. And it's going to be hard, because if your system been running on that and it's been reinforcing that loop for so long, ooh, you gonna already not like me for what I'm saying. And that's actually good, because if you're feeling some type of way, that means it's brushing up against your structure. That means your structure is not stable and it can't hold, right? So what I'm basically saying is, everybody here is here on a signature mission, signature to them in their individuality. And I think that is the key to a thriving earth. The individual. Everybody has a specific, very, very specific, expensive makeup. Like, you can't go buy that out the store. You can't go copy that. You can't go clone it. Every single person here is special in their own way. But when you run in these like programs that they didn't even get a chance to agree to, really, they were impressed on as a kid and they didn't really have the choice. But as it got older, it was more comfortable to keep that than to challenge it. You don't have many people expressing their own original, valuable, expensive identity. I'm here to see everybody express their identity. I'm here to see people be people. That's the beauty of life. Oh my gosh, I'm tired of seeing the same stuff. I'm tired of seeing the same archetype of person. And whole time people don't even want to be what they're saying they want to be, but they don't know what else to do. I'm here to let you know you can do whatever you want to do. You can believe whatever you want to believe, because under no condition are you going to be unloved. Like, you have to give yourself that unconditional love. So you have to tell yourself, no matter what, you just basically gotta have I don't give a fuck energy. Like, you have to tell yourself, under no condition am I not gonna love myself. Like, there is no condition that's gonna stop me from loving myself. If I remove all these conditions, at the end of the day, it's still me. With that being said, though, like, that also gives you the opportunity to do and pick and choose anything you want. But to do that, you have to understand that none of these conditions define you. Unconditional love for yourself is literally unconditional love for others, because unconditional love, again, is literally just acceptance. If you're accepting yourself, you can accept others. You can accept everybody's unique life, their unique contributions to the earth, their unique light, their unique way of expression. That's what the world is about, right? That's literally what it is. And once we accept that, it's really not a we thing. It's more of you individually. Don't worry about what other people do. You begin to accept who you are, and the world will follow. You need to accept who you are unconditionally. Once you do that, you introduce a new clarity to the world. People are going to look at you and be like, dang, like, you are so yourself. I want to be like that. I want to be myself. And it's going to cause people to question. Some people may not like it because you're rubbing against structure that makes them comfortable. But others are going to fall in love. But again, like I said, none of that matters. Your like for yourself shouldn't be based on if people love you or if they don't. Right? You should just be broadcasting who you are regardless. You know, I know it's not a word, but let me tell you this. Unconditional love is uncircumstantial. So unconditional love is not based on circumstances. It's not based on conditions, circumstances. You need to walk around every day, even if you don't got no job, you ain't got no money, you ain't got nothing. It's unconditional. Under no condition. Those conditions don't matter. You love yourself regardless. You need to love yourself the same way you would as if you had nothing, right? It's not if you had, right? I was about to say if you had. No, that's conditional. Nah, the same way you are right now is the same way you'll be if you get $1 million. Same way you are right now, it's just going to be the same way you're going to be. That core person, that core piece of you is going to be the same regardless, right? One thing that I always say, if you watch my previous episodes, and if you live by this and you keep this phrase in the back of your mind, the world becomes easy, because you are a constant. If you don't know what a constant is, look up what a constant is. You are a constant, immovable. You don't change based off nothing else. Think of math. 1x. Just think of the it's not an equation, it's just think of the variable x and think of the constant 1. Put them together. Take them apart. When you put them together, when you multiply 1 by x and you allow x, the variable, to change, it changes the 1. So now, because these two are multiplied together, they're coupled together, they're in a relationship, the variable changes the constant. The constant is 1. When you separate 1 and x can't change 1. 1 is a constant, and 1's going to be a constant forever. Nothing can change 1 unless it's coupled. With that being said, once you realize that you're a constant in a variable world, again, you have to realize, because if you don't realize, you're going to be coupled. You're going to be multiplied to the variable. So anytime x decides to change, say x turns into 2, You're no longer going to be 1x. You're going to be 2, because you're going to be 1 times 2. So you're not holding your ground in a variable world. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this world is going to be forever changing. Your circumstances, your conditions are going to be forever changing. And if you always let those change who you are, you'll never have a stable love for yourself. You got to uncouple from that variable and look at it. You got to look at the world as a variable world. That's what it is. We're going to wake up and the world is going to change every day. But you should allow yourself to be that constant, to be able to withstand that change, right? To be able to see the change and recognize it as change and recognize that it has nothing to do with who you are as a person. Again, unconditional, right? Be a constant in a variable world. Again, this world is ever changing, but you can be a constant. Or you can couple to the X, and if you want to change your identity or whatever it may be and uncouple, again, do what you want to do. But you need that choice. You need to have the choice. Don't just let it happen. Have the choice. If you want to change with the variable world, couple. If you don't. But allow yourself to have the choice. Life is in choice. Right? So you can be immovable and let the world move around you, or you can move with the world. It's up to you. Neither is wrong. Nothing you choose to do is wrong, because everything is unconditional love. Everything. I don't know where judgment came from. I don't know where judgment came from, but nothing is wrong. And this may be like controversial, because people are going to be like, oh my gosh, there are bad things going on in the world. Yes, in certain perspective. Everybody has their perspectives, and there's also multiple layers to this. It's like, you need contrast. You wouldn't know what bad was without good. You wouldn't know what good was if you didn't have bad. Because basically, without bad, you wouldn't be able to measure good, because oh, that's a bad child. But that's a bad child because you see the good child over there being good, so you compare them, right? In this world, for it to operate, for us to live, for us to have an experience, everything has to have a contrast, right? But you can pick and choose what you experience in this life, but you have to understand, you have to accept contrast. You have to accept everything under no condition. And the way love is misconstrued and distorted now, it's basically saying like, oh, you have to agree and you have to love this and like this so much. No, that's not what love is. Love is acceptance. And acceptance don't mean you got to like it. It's just you're not resisting it. You're not resisting it. Resistance just brings more of what you're resisting. So unconditional love is just acceptance. Accepting a part of yourself. You wake up and you mad today, accept that. You don't gotta like it. If you like it, okay. If you don't, okay. Like, acceptance will allow things to move quickly. You're not holding on to things. You're not being stuck, because stagnation comes from holding on to things, right? Let the world move. Let things happen. Be a constant in a variable world, right? But that's all I really had to talk about today. It's not a structured episode. I'm actually moving on. The last few episodes I've done have not been structured. And maybe I'm going to make an episode on unconditional love, but I'm going to structure it. So I'm going to have this free flow talking video, but I'm going to also, recording, but I'm going to also make a little structured, thing for unconditional love. And maybe I'll upload it as a clip. One thing I said is I'm going to start uploading clips. But yeah, unconditional love. I love everybody. I don't care who you are, what you do. That's not for me to judge. I accept myself enough to accept you. That's what life is about. But thank you all. And I hope you walk away understanding more of what unconditional love is. And if you don't, it's completely fine. One day you will revisit and understand better than ever if you choose to. It's your choice. But have a great day. Bye, guys.